About 3 years ago, on the 17th of May 2015, I created the OSFirstTimer NZ YouTube channel, and now 83 videos later I have just over 500 subscribers and over 82,000 video views across all my videos. So how did this channel start? What made me interested in operating systems, and what other channels have I had that haven't quite had the same success that OSFirstTimer NZ has? All these questions and more will be answered in this video. So sit back and enjoy the show. Back in 2007, my brother invented a game called Noughts, Crosses and Triangles. At first it was basically just a cross between noughts and crosses and Mr. Do. At first the game was very basic. Each player had an X and a circle. The aim of the game was to kill the other person's circle with your X. Circles could only go through blue, and crosses could go through blue or white, and if they went through white they left blue behind them. This was originally played in the back of my old maths book and done with black pens, red pens and a blue highlighter. The reason it was done in blue was because that was what color I happened to have laying around at the time. I do not have the first original book anymore, because it was burned, because I didn't value it at the time. Thinking back now, I wish I had kept it. Later on we invented triangles, hence the name of the game. Crosses could kill triangles and triangles could kill circles. To win the game you had to kill the other person's circle and their triangle. The game was also done in yellow highlighter because my blue highlighter ran out. Later on still there was diamond and boulders and bombs and more characters and anchors and barriers and much more. We also moved on to a new book because the old one ran out. Luckily this book was kept. There was also a key on the back to tell you what did what because the game was so complicated. In 2008 I started playing Mr. Do, which was an old retro arcade released in 1983, because I was interested to see how it compared to Noughts, Crosses and Triangles. This was when I first started using computers. My brother also made a Noughts, Crosses and Triangles level on a spreadsheet by filling the cells in the right color and typing and backspacing letters in the cells. We had to substitute triangle for D and square for C because they could not be typed. This was not very good because it was really slow and it was hard to make things like boulders and bombs and barriers because neither of us were any good on the computer back then. So we stayed with spreadsheets and went back to the book. Later on my father introduced me to a computer game called Lemmings. The aim of the game was to save as many lemmings as you could by turning them into things like diggers and miners and bashers and blockers. If you didn't save enough lemmings, then you failed the level. You also had a limited amount of time, although on most levels the time limit was not the problem. Later on still my father also introduced me to a game called Sonic the Hedgehog. I enjoyed Sonic so much that I also played Sonic 2. I also played Sonic 3. And I also played Sonic 3D. I enjoyed playing all the different Sonics so much that I decided to make my own on paper. My brother also made his own Sonic maps on paper. He also made his own Sonic 3D maps on paper. So did I. In 2010 I started using Dad's old black Dell Inspiron 8000 laptop, because Dad didn't use it anymore, because he mainly used his silver Dell XPS General 2. This was when I started my file structure. At first I drew paint pictures. In 2010 I also did something awful to my Millennium Dome money box, which was a priceless souvenir from the Millennium. I filled it with deodorant, then put the lid on and dropped a match in it. This made it burst into flames and the paint went brown, so I crushed it with a rock so that I could hide it easier. A few months later I moved it to the loop in tree and my brother found it and told my father late at night, so he went up with a torch and found it and was cross. When he got back to the house he took some photos of it. I also made a slideshow of it which you have just seen parts of. In 2010 I also smashed a window by throwing a knife at it. I also made a slideshow of this which you just seen part of. In 2010 me and my brother started playing noughts, crosses and triangles on the computer again, however this time rather than using a spreadsheet like before we did it on Paint. This made it a lot quicker and it was easier to draw things and move things around, and we could also have squares and triangles. I was also more computer literate in 2010 than I was in 2008. In early 2011 me and my dad found some old broken computers at the landfill, so we took them home and salvaged the working parts from each and built a computer. This is the old desktop that I still have today, however I don't use it very often anymore. Back then I used it to play some old games such as Mario and to draw paint pictures. The monitor I used with it was an old Packard Bell with a resolution of 1024 by 768. In late 2011 I got my Dell Inspiron N5050 laptop, which had the Core i5-2430M CPU, 4GB of DDR3 RAM, a 500GB hard drive and a 15-inch 1366 by 768 display. I got this because I wanted a more powerful computer and because I needed a laptop for school. This is still my main and only laptop today, although I have upgraded it to 16GB of RAM and a 1TB hard drive. My Dell Inspiron N5050 came with Windows 7, but I was so used to XP that I hated Windows 7. I didn't like the fact that on the taskbar it combined multiple instances of the same application together and hid the labels and used large icons. I also didn't like the fact that programs that were pinned to the taskbar turned into the program when you clicked on them, unlike on XP where they open a new instance of the program every time you clicked them and stayed separate from the running programs. I also didn't like the fact that the up button was missing from the File Explorer and the file path had been replaced with these stupid breadcrumbs, and that the menu bar hid itself unless you press Alt. I also didn't like that the title text was missing in many programs, and that when you clicked all programs in the start menu it confined you to clicking through folders in a tiny corner of the screen, unlike on XP when the menu spread out across the entire screen so you could see them all at once and could open each subfolder just by holding the mouse over it without clicking it. I also didn't like the arrow theme because everything was way too shiny and transparent. I also didn't like the new ribbon paint. Overall I hated Windows 7 so much that I tried to downgrade it to XP. I tried multiple copies, both cracked and unactivated of both 32 and 64-bit version. However, whatever I did I just got the blue screen of death in the same place during setup. In the end I had to put up with Windows 7, however I set the taskbar to combine when taskbar is full instead and use small icons. I unpinned everything from the taskbar and created a quick launch folder with my programs in and added it to my taskbar and applied the classic theme. I also installed Classic Shell to get back the up button and disable breadcrumbs in the File Explorer and to get back the XP style all programs menu. I also copied the MS Paint exe from XP and ran it on Windows 7. This is the only screenshot I have of what my desktop looked like then. In June 2012, I ended up applying the arrow theme, although I still kept the taskbar and all programs menu like XP. In fact, I still find the modern taskbar hateful to use to this very day and still have my taskbar set the classic way. In January 2012 my mom and dad split up and I ended up spending every second week at each house. I kept the old desktop at mom's. I used the laptop for school and at dad's and at mom's when I need the processing power. However, when I was at mom's and did not need the processing power I sometimes still used the old desktop because it was running XP and because desktops are nicer to use. However, as time went on I started using the old desktop less and less, and by the end of 2012 I hardly ever used the old desktop anymore, although I did use the Packard Bell 1024 by 768 monitor with my laptop in multi-screen as a second monitor. In 2012 I started making music videos where I got a song and put some pictures along with the words, although I am not going to show these due to copyright issues with the music. I also did the same with some adverts and some Mr. Men videos. In 2012 I also made a video of our old TV being destroyed. In 2012 my brother drew the flags of the world on paint. He also made a flag book on PowerPoint. And he also made a flag poster on paint. In 2012 I heard about Windows 8, so I installed the consumer preview on my old desktop. The reason why I installed it on my old desktop rather than on my laptop was because I didn't want it as my main operating system and I did not know about virtual machines back then. Windows 8 on my old desktop was extremely slow, so I downgraded it back to Windows XP. In late 2012 I got my Motorola MB525. This was my first phone. In 2013 I discovered a program called Game Maker and made Ox Triangle into a working interactive computer game. At first it was very buggy and the code was very messy and mainly done in drag and drop actions. However, I have done some more work on it recently and redone it in clean tidy code and it now works a lot better. In 2013 I also discovered a program called VirtualBox. This meant that I could install any operating system I wanted without having to install it natively. I soon built myself up a collection of operating systems. In January 2014 I decided to upgrade my laptop from Windows 7 to Windows 8.1. Unlike my experience going from Windows XP to Windows 7, my experience going from Windows 7 to Windows 8.1 was positive and Windows 8.1 still remains my favorite operating system today and I run it as my main OS. I like the solid color windows and flat design with square edges while still having the useful arrow features such as snap, show desktop and progress bars on the in the taskbar without looking way too shiny and transparent and overdone, which Windows 7 did in my opinion. I also like the fact that the window color changed to match your desktop background and I like the fact that the title was in the center of the windows rather than at the left like it was in Windows 7. I also like the fact that in multi-screen the taskbar would show on all displays and you could either have the button show on all taskbars or just the taskbar where the window is open. In Windows 7 it just showed the taskbar on the main display. I also like the fact that in multi-screen if you had a slideshow as your desktop background it would show a different picture on each display, unlike in Windows 7 where it would just show the same picture on each display. I also like the start screen with tiles that could be arranged into groups. I also like the full screen apps menu that laid everything out in front of you, utilizing the entire screen, unlike in Windows 7 where it made you scroll through the list and click each folder in a tiny corner while the rest of the screen was just wasted. I also like the new task manager. I also like the new File Explorer that finally brought back the up button and introduced the ribbon interface and the copying dialog, where it gives you a graph and allows you to pause transfers and puts all transfers in the same window. I also like the fact when you have the taskbar set to use small icons, the start button doesn't hang off the taskbar like it does in Windows 7, and I like the feature when you could automatic save a screenshot to a PNG file by pressing Windows key plus print screen, unlike in Windows 7 where you had to press print screen then paste it into Paint and save the file. I also like the faster boot time. One thing I didn't like was the fact that the desktop gadgets had been removed. However, I was able to get them back by installing a program. While watching videos about Windows 8 on YouTube, I found a video called Mum Tries Out Windows 8.
Okay, this is Diana's first time on the computer using Windows 8. What do you think of the login screen?
I don't like the look of it.
We'll try and check your emails without using an internet browser. So no Firefox, no Chrome.
Don't know, it's just, there's no options, it's lost its options. File, okay, here. File, and I'm gonna open a new window. Wait a sec, no, I want to open a file. Open a new... Why does it want me to open a stupid new window? I don't want to open a new window. I'm going to a file to open a document. And even the homepage looks just cartoonish and like it's one of the first windows out.
My dad's... No, believe me, the first Windows out. Because you said that, the next operating system you're going to try in a week from now will be Windows 1.01. Just because you said it looks like the first Windows out. And you tell me if Windows 1.01 is easier to use than this.
Because Diana said that Windows 8 looked like the first Windows ever, Philip made her try Windows 1, and I also watched that video.
Okay, when you tried out Windows 8, you said it looks childish, cartoonish, and it looks like every single other Windows was an improvement on that, as if Windows 8 was the first Windows ever, and Windows 8 was 2012. So let's take you back to 1985 and back 27 years and show you what the first Windows was really like. And you tell me if Windows 8 looks better or worse.
Okay.
This is Windows 1.0, 1985, also known as MS-DOS Executive. Does it look better than Windows 8?
I watched many more of their videos. I enjoyed watching their videos so much that on the 6th of February 2014 I decided to make a video of my own mum trying Windows 8.1, although I did not upload this video to YouTube.
You ready? Okay. We're doing a Philip and Diana style video here. Only Stefan forget everything in writing. He's not actually, written instructions instead of verbal instructions here. Okay, so I've got to try out Windows 8.1, just like Diana did. And so my first task is to find out what time it is. Now I've never used 8.1 before, so I really don't know what I'm doing with it. But it does tell me that the weather's 17 degrees in Mayfield today. So I'll see if the time's anywhere there too. Oh look, last updated. No, that's not the current time. Now I'm stuck. Ooh. I don't know how to close this. I know it's complicated. I don't know what you do. Right, I give up. My first task, I don't know how to close it.
I also made a video of my mum trying Windows 1, because Philip did.
What is the time? Okay. Clock. I'll look at that clock. Write, save and open a text document.
I also got my dad to try out Windows 8.1.
Okay, so then we're going to go with Windows 8.1. See what we can do with it. So, what is the time? Let's have a look. And we're going to find that. Time is 10:20. Okay, right, save and open a text document.
Mum also asked me what the difference was between Windows 8 and Windows 8.1, so I made her try Windows 8. I also put a title at the beginning of this video to make it look more professional.
Task then. What is the time? You would have thought it might have even shown it to begin with. I forgot to do next. Write, save and open the text document. Well, if I could get back to the previous page. I did see. I know you find this hilarious. Well, I don't. File, try that. Open the command prompt. Well, I don't know. Go on, give us a close. Where do I find my apps? Potluck, really? I like that flower there. Go on, what does that do? Does that say a thing again? I don't know. Let's see what's on my computer. Maybe it's hidden in the petals of here. In the little bits of it. I don't know. Right, I give up. Failed.
I also got my mum to try Microsoft Bob because Philip made Diana try it. She seemed to like Microsoft Bob, which surprised me because not many people do.
Bob the dog. Good afternoon. Click on the door to sign in. Put it on that shelf. Are you sure you want to exit Bob home? Yes, please. All done. Review? Lovely. I like that one. It's like having a pet inside the computer.
In episode 15 I decided to make my videos a bit more professional. I made the title look better and put the date filmed. I also decided to make a trailer for my videos. I made it look similar to Philip's because that was what my videos were based on. I also started making intros for each video. Later on I started getting my mum to read the intros.
Today, Mum is going to try Temple OS. Temple OS is a 64-bit operating system made by a man called Terry A. Davis, who is religious and took him 10 years to make. He started making it in 2003 and finished it in 2013.
I got my dad to do a few more.
Okay, XP, my favourite operating system. Very good. What is the time? That's easy, it's 8 PM. Okay, so I'm having a good old Windows 3.1. My first operating system I ever had on a computer.
Later on I started using a screen recorder to make it look clearer.
Save and open a text document. Okay, so I want something for writing with. Notepad.
On the 7th of July 2014 I made a mouse unboxing, which was a video of me unboxing a new mouse. This was my first ever unboxing. In 2014, someone that Dad knew had an old HP Pavilion A1350A desktop which Windows didn't boot, and they had data on it that they wanted, so they gave it to me to get the data off. Afterwards they said I could have it because they didn't want it, so I kept that desktop at Dad's, and it is still there now. I also made a video called Soon I'm Gonna Fade Away Steph and Grace 2014, which was a video that showed pictures and clips of my life, from when I was born to now. The reason why I made this video was because Philip made one.
Like a sun, I'm gonna fade away. Over the last 3 years of my life, I've realized things just aren't what they seem. Never before did I ever think to know everything around me was soon to go. Whoa, it's gone good.
In late 2014 my Motorola 5MB525 broke, so I snapped it up into pieces and had no phone for a while. In early 2015 my uncle gave me his old phone, which was the LG Optimus 1P500. In 2015 I started editing my videos in Sony Vegas rather than Windows Movie Maker 2.6, which I used before. On the 21st of March 2015 I got my Canon PowerShot SX400 IS camera. In 2015 I also started making my videos look more professional by putting a small view from the camera on top of the screen recording and by zooming in on the screen recording.
Better. Which do you think? Right. To begin with, let's have the weather.
On the 17th of May 2015 I created the OSFirstTimer NZ YouTube channel and uploaded all the dad tries out videos that I had done. I didn't upload the mum tries out because she didn't want to be on YouTube. On the 15th of July 2015 I decided to build myself a powerful desktop because I wanted a better computer. The reason why I built a desktop rather than buying a new laptop was because desktops are nicer to use and more upgradable, and my laptop was still sufficient for taking to school, and by then I was mainly living at mum's house and only going to my dad's house every second weekend. This is currently my main computer and I am using it to make this video right now. The components that I chose were the Intel Core i7-4790, 16GB of DDR3, the Asus B85ME motherboard, a 128GB Samsung 850 Pro SSD, two 2TB black hard drives and the NVIDIA GeForce GT 610, although I upgraded the graphics card later on. I used it with Dad's old Dell 24-inch 1920 by 1200 monitor that he got in 2006 and my old packed Dell 1024x768 monitor in a multi-screen configuration. For the keyboard I just used an old Logitech PS2 keyboard that I already happened to have laying around, and for the mouse I bought the Corsair Raptor M45 gaming mouse. You may not have seen the desktop before because I only upload the dad tries out videos which are done at dad's on the laptop, and I do not upload the mum tries out videos which are done at mum's on the desktop because mum doesn't want to be on YouTube. On the 29th of July 2015 Windows 10 was released and I considered upgrading. However, in the end I decided to stick with Windows 8.1 due to a number of reasons such as forced updates and privacy issues. I also heard that Windows 10 had driver and software compatibility issues. I also prefer the way the windows looked in Windows 8.1 and changed with a desktop background, which they did not seem to do in Windows 10. I also preferred the centered title in Windows 8.1 over the left-aligned title in Windows 10. I also preferred the square profile picture in Windows 8.1 over the circle one in Windows 10. I also did not like the way they tried to mix the Metro and the desktop together in Windows 10. I prefer them to be separate like they are in Windows 8.1. I also liked the full screen Metro start in Windows 8.1. I also did not like the way they had moved some stuff over from Control Panel to Settings. This was really annoying because I didn't know which one to go to, and when moving stuff over to Settings they have stripped some functionality such as setting the slideshow to change every 10 seconds and being able to change the background color. There is also no easy way to access Control Panel. In Windows 8.1 they do have a Settings app, however they have not removed anything from Control Panel. The stuff in Settings is either new in Windows 8.1 or is still in the Control Panel as well. Also in Windows 8.1 there is a shortcut to Control Panel within the Settings app, and you can access Control Panel by right-clicking the Start button or pressing Windows key plus X, or by going to the Settings charm on the desktop. I also didn't like the quick access that came up when you pressed Windows key plus E, unlike Windows 8.1 that came up with SPC. I also didn't like that many desktop apps such as Windows Photo Viewer and Calculator has been replaced by Windows Universal Apps, unlike in Windows 8.1 where there was a desktop version and a Metro version of the Calculator and Photo Viewer. On the 17th of August 2015 I made a video called The History of Microsoft Office where I compare different versions of Microsoft Office. and is my second most popular video to date with 11,754 views, and has a better like to dislike ratio than most of my other videos. On the 4th of December 2015 I made the OSFirstTimer NZ channel trailer. On the 16th of December 2015 I started adding closed captions to my videos. On the 23rd of January 2016 I made the first episode of OSFirstTimer NZ Advanced, which was of Dad trying Excel. This was a copy of Philip Adams' OSFirstTimer Advanced.
Welcome to the first episode of OSFirstTimer Advanced. In this series, we ditch the original OSFirstTimer tasks and go for a new, more advanced task in each episode. The task could involve anything from video editing to 3D modelling to programming to just about anything, and can involve any program on any operating system throughout history. In this episode, Diana will be attempting to create a teleportation effect using Sony Vegas Pro 13 in Windows 8.1. The planning, filming and editing process will be completely done by her, even though she's never edited a video in her life.
In January 2016, Mum's Vodafone contract gave her a free Samsung Galaxy J1 Ace, so I ended up getting it. On the 4th of March 2016 I created the Terrified Dad channel, which never had the same success that OSFirstTimer NZ did. And Silver Minecrafters made me the channel art. On the 4th of May 2016 I started using Peter's voice instead of Microsoft David because VAS709 told me to, and most people seem to prefer it. On the 13th of June 2016 I made some channel art for OSFirstTimer NZ. On the 15th of July 2016 I made a video called How to Write the Date, where I explained why the date should be written year month day instead of day month year or month day year.
This could mean the 11th of December 2010, this could also mean November 12, 2010. Or 2011 December 10th, if you look at year month day you will see that they are sorted perfectly in order. If you look at day month year you will see that they are a complete scrambled mess, which makes it very difficult to find anything. The day month year system no longer seems quite so logical. The elements themselves are in ascending order from smallest to largest, however the digits within each elements are in descending order from largest to smallest. The day month year format is the least logical. If you look at the year month day format you can see that it goes down in perfect logical descending order.
On the 4th of September 2016 I made a video where I compared Windows 10 anniversary update to the initial release. In 2016 someone gave me an old HP 1024x768 monitor and an old Samsung ThinkMaster 710M1280x1024 monitor. I kept the HP 1024x768 monitor at Dad's and I took the 1280x1024 monitor to Mum's and had triple multi-screen with a Dell 1920x1200 in the center, the Samsung 1280x1024 at the right and the Packard Dell 1024x768 at the left. On the 20th of November 2016 I made a tutorial on how to simultaneously use two operating systems on one PC. The how to style of videos seemed popular, so I also made a tutorial on how to get Windows XP Paint on Windows 7, 8, 8.1 and Windows 10. I also made a tutorial on how to make a power button on your taskbar or desktop, how to get the Windows XP and Vista style quick launch in Windows 7, 8, 8.1 and 10, how to make a second partition on your boot drive without reinstalling Windows, and how to reset a forgotten Windows password. On the 25th of December 2016 I upgraded my GT 610 to the GTX 1060 and made an unboxing and comparison video. For New Year's 2016 to 2017 I videoed a clock changing. In 2017 I found a YouTube channel called Lewis's Tech, which was about scam dating.
Thank you for calling customer support. This is Nancy. How may
Website have downloaded the malware and virus on your unknown OS platform system. Contact unknown OS platform help desk to unlock your unknown OS platform system.
All right, sure. What was the task you are doing before you received this warning on your computer?
I was trying to go to porn.
Sorry, you was over the internet, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And if you try to delete all those warnings from your computer, so you will be unable to do so because
That's syskey, is it? You're gonna syskey it, are you? What are you syskeying it for? I know what you're doing. Two scammer here. Why are you syskeying my virtual machine? You're running a scam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm guessing. Oh, look at that. You can't even put a syskey on. What a loser. Can't even use syskey properly. Ah, how pathetic. Terry Markey Chu, you're a scammer.
You are just a motherfucker. Just.
On the 30th of January 2017 I started making my own scam dating videos.
Thank you for calling online support. How may I help you today?
I have a problem with my computer.
Okay. Please provide your customer ID so I can pull up the record.
Once you hit run, another message prompt will appear on your screen. It will ask you, do you allow this program to make some changes on this computer? So please click on yes.
Hit the start download.
Shall I click start download?
Please click on start download. Alright, I'm connected with your computer and it says PC Purifier. There are registry errors. The price for 1 year is $298 US.
I also made a tutorial on how to call a scammer using text-to-speech. On the 21st of April 2017 I made a video comparing base 10, 12 and 16 counting systems, which pointed out that our base 10 numbering system is not optimal. However, unlike in the date video where I suggest that you should use year month day instead of day month year or month day year, I didn't suggest switching number bases since it would be too hard. On the 12th of May 2017 I made a video called Virtual Machine Inside a Virtual Machine Inside a Virtual Machine, where I ran Windows 1 in a virtual machine inside Windows XP, in a virtual machine inside Windows 7, in a virtual machine inside Windows 8.1. On the 31st of March 2017 I made a video of Windows 95 running on my Samsung Galaxy J1 Ace. On the 7th of September 2017 I made my first and only YTT.
Hey there, OSFirstTimer here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Logitech's joke of a 480p webcam, which is able to capture blurred 480p video at 5 frames per second.
In 2018 I made a working Sonic the Hedgehog game out of the Sonic maps that my brother drew on paper. I also made a working Sonic out of the maps that I drew on paper. A lot of people had been complaining about the audio quality in my videos, so I did a microphone comparison comparing the Samsung Galaxy J1 Ace, Canon PowerShot SX400 IS camera, Microsoft LifeCam VX3000, Logitech headset making the Genius microphone. It was clear from the poll and the comments that most people preferred the Samsung Galaxy J1 Ace. On the 4th of April 2018 my Dell 1920 by 1224-inch monitor went bang and stopped working, so I took it apart and found that the capacitor had failed, so my dad soldered a new capacitor on and replaced the fuse, but it still didn't work, so he soldered two 12-volt wires to the power supply, and this time the power button lit up, which it didn't do before. However, the screen still didn't work. So I dismantled the monitor, the plastic went to the skip, the metal went to scrap metal, and the circuit boards went to e-recycling to get the copper traces recycled and the gold out of the plugs. So I got the Dell U7217D 27-inch 2560 by 1440 monitor. And someone also gave me the Dell P2411H 24-inch 1920 by 1080 monitor, which I use as my second monitor. In 2018 Dad got himself the Samsung Galaxy S9, so he gave me his old Samsung Galaxy S5. Goodbye.